PTN24 ਦੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਹੀ ਦਰਸ਼ਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸੰਜੀਵ ਤਵਨ ਦਾ ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ, ਨਮਸਕਾਰ ਔਰ ਆਦਾਬ। दोस्तों आज असी एक एक्सक्लूसिव प्रोग्राम कर रहे हैं कि ब्रैम्पटन और GTA और पूरे अंटेरियो ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ जब देखिए तो म्यूनसिपल इलैक्शनस ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਉਹ शुरू हो चुकी है प्रोसेस। कई जगह ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ अर्ली वोट्स भी ਪੈਣੀਆਂ शुरू हो चुकी हैं, बट नाउ टाइम आ गया कि ਅਸੀਂ अपना डिसीजन करना है कि ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿਹਨੂੰ ਵੋਟ ਪਾਣੀ है। सो PTN24 ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟ ਦੀ ਸਪੋਰਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦਾ और किसी भी कैंਡੀਡੇਟ ਨੂੰ ਅਪੋਜ਼ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦਾ। ਇਸ प्रोग्राम का मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव यह है कि तुहानू असी सारे कैंਡੀਡੇਟਸ ਨਾਲ मिलाइए, उन्होंने विचार जिहड़े ने तुहाडे नाल शेयर करिए ताकि तुसी एक वैल इनफॉर्म डिसीजन कर सको। सो अज दे इस प्रोग्राम दे विच असी मेयर जिहड़े ब्रैम्पटन मेयरशिप दे लई कैंਡੀਡੇਟਸ ने उन्होंने बुलाया सी। सारे कैंਡੀਡੇਟਸ नूं बुलाया गया। जिहड़े कैंਡੀਡੇਟਸ प्रेजेंट होए सब तो पहलों उन्होंने इंट्रोड्यूस करांगे और जिहड़े नहीं प्रेजेंट होए उन्हां बारे भी असी गल करांगे। सो मेरे राइट ते सब तो पहला विनोद महेशन, मिस्टर मंसूर अमीर सुल्तान, जॉन सुप्रोवरी, ऑनरेबल बलजीत गोसल,
थैंक यू।
और मेरे नाल को होस्ट ने आज दे इस प्रोग्राम दे केसी चौहान जो कि डायरेक्टर एंड प्रोफेसर ने केसी एक्सल दे, और मैं हाँ संजीव तवन। आज का एक प्रोग्राम इंग्लिश होएगा, सो स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम दैट, सो एवरीवन वेलकम टू PTN24.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So, starting right away with Vinod.
Oh, yes.
Vinod, my first question to you is, why people should vote you? You can talk about yourself, you can talk about your accomplishments, you can talk about your platform. You're not allowed to speak about any candidate present or not present in your introduction. And you have 1 minute and 30 seconds, and at 1 minute 30 seconds there will be a bell and the time will be over.
Okay, that's good. So hello, namaste, sat sri akal and adab. Brampton, my name is Vinod Mahesh and I'm running for mayor because I believe that we can actually change the city from what it is today. It's really an unsafe, congested, expensive and unplanned city, and we can bring it to a safer, livable and smarter city. And I can do this because of the way I approach problem solving with my education and my experience in cutting edge technology as well as process improvement. I can actually bring in a wholesome change in the way the city operates. Also, one of the key values which I've found in city of Brampton is that it has an immense untapped talent in terms of a highly educated workforce, a strong entrepreneurship streak, a growing younger family base, as well as an amazing cultural diversity. You take all of this together, that's the only time I agree that Brampton is a sleeping city and it's time to wake up. And with all of this wonderful assets which we have, we can change the city, make it one of the best in the world, make it an envy in the world. And that's the reason why I'm running.
Thank you. Mansoor Amir Sultan.
Salam, Sasikal, Namaste, Vanakkam. My name is Mansoor Amir Sultan. I came to Canada in 2003 and I living in Brampton from 2007. I know what is going on in the Brampton city, the improvements it is lock up. 2014, what they say is it is continue. We are talking about 2018 regarding this property tax and more jobs, healthcare, traffic congestion, youth involvement, and university. It is not yet completed. It is all in behind us. That's why I decided to run for the mayor position. My background from the union, the United Steel Workers Union, I have been served as a negotiation committee member, and I did for some better negotiation with employees and employer. And the other thing, my children are studied here in Brampton in colleges and school, and I know what is need to be Brampton, what we have to get for the Brampton, because there is lot of things it is not yet done, it is freeze. So I decided to run for the Brampton mayoral office to change, bring it in Brampton. That's why I'm running for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mansoor. And now I'll request John Sprowry, who has been a councillor for 30 years with City of Brampton. John.
Thank you so much. And Sat Sri Akal, Namaskar, Salam Alaikum. I'm running for mayor because I've been the councillor for 30 years. And I've seen so much happen, especially in wards 9 and 10, where when I started it was 8,000 people, and it has grown to about 150,000 in the last 30 years. And I oversaw the growth from a farming community into a thriving, successful community where people have come and settled. And we have people, business people, we have professionals, and it's become one of the nicest part of Brampton, and they're very affluent and successful, and people have come and have established their businesses in Brampton to make our economy grow. The reason I'm running for mayor is because I've seen so much waste in government, and we hear about all the waste. We hear the waste at the provincial level, we hear the waste at the federal level, and there's also waste at the municipal level. And I also running because we've had poor leadership in the last couple of terms, and I believe that Brampton needs a strong mayor with good leadership skills that can bind the council together, that will work for the city, will work for the people to make the city more prosperous and more successful and a peaceful place to live.
Thank you, John. And now I request Honorable Baljit Gosal, who was a former Sports Minister of Canada, why he put his hat in the race.
Oh, thank you. Good evening. Sat Sri Akal. Namaste. Salam Alaikum. I'm running for Mayor of Brampton because I love this city. I've lived in Brampton for 35 years. My children are born and raised in Brampton. Me and my wife run a small business right here in Brampton. Brampton needs a change. I've served on numerous committees: City of Brampton Property Standards Committee, YMCA, Brampton Civic Hospital, Peel Regional Police Services Board, and I had the honor to serve Brampton as a Member of Parliament and Minister of Sport. Every day, my taxes for my home and businesses are going up, just like yours. We have problem with the gridlock, and we have transportation problems. City needs a change. City needs a real change, whether it's crime, whether it's transportation, whether it's taxes. And it's important, first of all, to come out and vote on election day. And I'm running because I'm from Brampton. And I am for Brampton, and I am from Brampton. Please come and support me. Thank you.
Thank you, Baljit. And now I'm going to ask a very unusual question from the politicians. And that question is, if you think that any of your opponent or anyone who is contesting this election has some good qualities or some good platform, so feel free to talk about any of the candidate. You can't talk about yourself, and you are given 1 minute and 30 seconds again. And this time I will start from Mr. Mansoor.
Thank you. Actually, the question about politician, but I am not a politician, I am a common man. I came to serve for the Brampton as a common man. If you have something with the political background, we have to be commanded by the political leaders. That is not applicable. So I can get it because our system is starting from the municipal. Then it will going for...
Mr. Mansoor, I have to cut you short. The question is if you want to talk something good about any of the candidates.
Not you.
Any of the candidates, not me. Oh, that's good.
Yes.
Okay.
Not you. You're not included in that.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. The thing it is, the politicians here in this election, I didn't say anything about bad for any other candidates. All are it's doing for good, with the good relations. And there is no any things to say against or favor. It is first. They are doing their work properly.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
John.
Well, Sanjeev, anyone who stands up in his grueling, demanding career of being a politician deserves credit. And it's not easy to be running for election, and it's not easy to actually serve as a public figure. It's very demanding. So I have to give everyone the credit for standing up and for making democracy work. The only way democracy will work is where more people stand up and give the people a choice. So people then can make an informed decision and pick the person they believe is the most worthy and the most capable to run. So if there was only one person running, then the people would not have the choice. So I give credit to everyone for standing up and for giving the people a choice.
Thank you, John. Honorable Baldwin.
Well, thank you, Sanjeev, and I do agree with John. And it is a tremendous amount of commitment on everybody when they run for office. And my hats go off to everyone who have put their name in for any kind of election. Councillors, regional councillors, mayors. I have a lot of respect for each and every candidate. It takes time away from the family, and commitment is 24/7. It is demanding job. So anybody who puts their name into the hat, hats off to them. I commend them. I respect them. It's always a question of the ideas. Thank you.
Thank you, Vinod.
Okay, so I'm actually going to take names and go after, right? So for me, I believe that everybody comes with very good intentions when they come into the public place. And they might have different ideologies, different thought processes, but the intention is always good to serve. And that's pretty good. So as I say, Mansoor here, coming over, and he is very thorough. When he comes around, he comes up with lots of detail, which is wonderful. I learn from him. Like, I look at that and say, okay, I need to learn more detail. I look at John. John has an amazing experience. 30 years is no joke, especially in the kind of area which he's done. It's great, and he's my regional councillor too. So I actually really, I'm very well connected with him, and I really like him. I got Baljeet Gosalji, sports minister. It's an honorable, it's being a federal minister is a great achievement out there. So that achievement, that ambition, that being there, that's something we all aspire to be, and he's already achieved that. That's great for us, right? Talking about Patrick he has got this one boundless energy and an amazing memory. I like that fact that he's that energy and memory. It's beautiful. I want to learn that. I want to really work on that. And finally, coming to Linda. Linda is a worthy opponent, but she's very tenacious and got lots of grit and strength. And that's, again, a virtue which I look at learning. So I look at people and I see what's the best I can imbibe from them. And these are all wonderful traits which come in and helps me a lot.
Thank you, Vinod. So we invited Madam Linda Jaffrey, Mayor of Brampton. We invited Patrick Brown, and we invited all other candidates. And now my real question comes where we'll have a lot of heated discussion possibly. And soon my co-host Casey will also be raising questions. But to start the real discussion, we'll start with John. And the question is, what are the qualities which you think your opponents are not suitable to be a mayor? What are the platform issues where you think your opponents are not suitable? You can talk about those who are present, you can talk about those who are not present, because we invited everyone. So we'll start with John.
Well, Sanjeev, to be honest, I don't believe that someone, a member of the public, could just come out of nowhere and be a mayor. I believe that anyone who's going to be a mayor has to have municipal experience. And there's a lot of information that one must have, knowledge must have to run a council, to bind the team together, on how people, what motivates people, how people think, and how to bring them together to work as a team. And this is the problem that we've been experiencing in Brampton in this last term, is that we had never bound as a team to work together to work for the people of Brampton, because I believe that the leadership was not there to bind us together and to, regardless of our difference of opinions, regardless of the issues but at the end of the day, we were all elected by the people to work for the people, and we did not do that. And I believe it's just because you need the right leader, they need the right person that has the knowledge on how to bring a team together. You know, I coached soccer in my young days with my children when they were playing, and I know what it takes to get the kids to play together, to organize them, to cooperate, to synchronize, and it's very similar in office.
Thank you, Johnson. Baj.
Well, again, it goes back to the leadership. To run a city, you need a good leader. In the last 4 years, the leadership failed. Council was divided. And I'm the kind of person who can bring the council together by respecting each and every one. Every single councillor is elected independently, and they come with great ideas, and it should be respected. So my first priority will be council unity. And as a federal sports minister, as a member of parliament, I dealt with a lot of situations, dealt with caucus. I led 52 different sports organizations in Canada. We have very successful Pan Am Games. And I have those qualities where I can bring the council together and bring the citizens of Brampton together and work for Brampton to move Brampton forward. And I think last 4 years we have moved backwards instead of moving forward. And that's what I bring to the table. That's why I want to be mayor of the city.
Thank you, Baji. And Vinod.
Yeah, so coming back, as you said, right, the question was, what do we find something which is lacking in our opponents, right, and why we think that they are not credible enough, and I did a detailed study on each one of them, and what I found out is that as of right now, there are only 3 candidates who actually have actively put in the public domain what their ideas are, what they're going to do in terms of actions, right, so that's one is me, I've got Patrick, and Wesley Jackson. These are the 3 candidates who are actually written down for people to read out as to what they're going to do. Now within that we have critiques which we can look out. When we look at, as all of our experienced folks here have highlighted, leadership is key, but more than leadership also is collaboration. You have to work with, because each of these folks have been individually elected, you have to work with them, you have to collaborate with them to work towards the betterment of the city. The second piece which you have to look at is that the city in itself is built out of a whole bunch of processes. Who can go in and fix those processes? Third, you have to work with 3 levels of government. That's a very understandable statement. But to work with 3 levels of government, you cannot carry, political experience is a great thing, but political baggage is also a problem. You don't want to carry that political baggage out. So it's always good to see where you have this tussle issues with baggage and experience. It's better to look at that and look for something fresh and see what somebody fresh can bring out. So that's another area which has to be factored in and looked into, because right now we are focusing on a future of a city which needs to grow by leaps and bounds. And sometimes old ideas don't work.
Thank you, Vinod. Mansoor.
Thank you. The thing is, mayor cannot do anything himself. Let's have a council members and regional council members. They all together they wanted to be run the municipal. So the different field, if from the industrial, I am a mechanical engineer background, I came from the industrial. So this Brampton, the ratio of employment, it is only 21, the residential is 79. So where there is a lockup, we want to find out why it's happened, why the people are 60% going out of from Brampton. So the very big leader, the incumbent mayor, last 4 years, what it did for the Brampton, actually I don't know. But served in the parliament, the provincial parliament for many years, and councillor, but they still failed to do. The university what promised, it is startup in the parking lot. So doesn't matter who is coming or what, who is new or old, doesn't matter. Who can do for better for the city development. In myself, I am giving for focus for the employment ratio and bring it up. So many industries to bring with the some extra priority. Thank you.
Thank you, Mansoor. And now I have my co-host, Miss Casey Jahan. So she'll be raising the questions to our candidates. So, Casey.
Welcome, gentlemen, and it's really very nice hearing you all. My very first question to all of you, and of course you can answer one by one, is what is your definition of diversity? And what does really racism mean to you?
We'll start with Mr. Balgosal and then we'll continue.
Oh, diversity is, as it's defined, different communities living together. And Brampton, I believe, is the most diverse and most multicultural city in the world. 73% of the people in Brampton are visible minorities. But we all live together, we all work together. And you asked for racism, any kind of bias against anybody is considered racism, it should be. And Brampton has been working together very well. And I represented Brampton as Member of Parliament, and I interacted with the communities. And we have Carabam, we celebrate, to celebrate different cultures, but we can do more. We have Rose Theatre and Garden Square in Brampton. We don't promote them enough. As a mayor, I would bring every culture to Central Brampton to Gardens to celebrate culture, celebrate heritage. We have different community heritage months as well, but I rather bring all those communities together to celebrate their culture and religions and heritage, so every Bramptonian knows everything about each other. And that's what's needed to spread the true diversity and true multiculturalism.
Vinod, thank you.
Okay, so one of the best things I like about Canada, and I moved out from the States over to Canada and I didn't come in as an economic immigrant, I came for certain values. One of the best things I like here is that you have people from 130 countries coexisting peacefully in one single country, even though they might have issues and differences wherever they are from. And you can maintain your tradition, your culture, and yet be Canadian. So that is one of the biggest values. And for me, that is the key around diversity, that you can be you, you're not questioned who you are, and you can be different at the same time, but be one, part of one ecosystem, one country, one place. Brampton is definitely a reflection of Canada. It's a mini Canada out there. Even within us, like as I call it as diversity for us, that example right now, all the panel which we are sitting here, we all speak different languages, we all speak different things, we follow different faiths, but we are all here in one place, sitting very coexisting peacefully. That itself is the best example of diversity. Racism for me is when you start discriminating, whether it's on color, gender, it's on your language, ethnicity, anything, where you start looking at somebody and say, you're different than me and I don't like you. Or I want to create something negative for you rather than looking at a positive perspective. And that is something which should be, we should be harsh about it. We should not support that as a society. We should be proactively stating that that is something we as a society do not condone.
Thank you, Vinod and Mansoorji.
Yeah, Brampton, it is 9th largest city in Canada. I think there is several languages and several multicultural city. And we can see for all the countries and all the states and all the people here. But most of what they doing, our people, they are not coming in social with the other people, most of. They are just mingle in there itself, and even they are not some occasions they will do in the banquet hall and some restaurant in their people only. So in my idea, they wanted to be bring it to the park and community centers to use. So the diversity, it will be improving and they can advertise what they are having the one culture and they can spread to the system to the people. So this we have to be support for them, like what Mr. Gosal says, Karabram, but we wanted to be make more like this way to the meet people in summer days, because we have only for few months in summer. So the few months we wanted to be make action with the people, and we will do some events like more, so the people will be understand each other. So there is no problem will be created. They will do best and they'll bring it best to the Brampton. That's
Thank
all.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. John, please.
Well, diversity. I always say diversity is the spice of life. And I believe that whether it be in every family, between brothers and sisters, husband and wives, we're diverse. And amongst the different ethnic people, we're diverse. But most of this diversity is very common amongst all the people, that we are diverse in various ways. Now, to me, the way I understand diversity is that it's actually a very important aspect of life to be diverse. And for people to understand that we all have a different genetic makeup. And with that different genetic makeup, we are different. We think differently, we act differently, we like different things, and that's diversity. And we should all celebrate our diversity, because that's what makes life interesting, is to be diverse. If we're all the same, a bunch of robots, I mean, life would be very, very boring. So to me, that's very important. As far as racism, to me, racism means is that when a person believes that one race is better than another race. And we have to all understand that we came all from the same source. We're all the human race. There's no such thing as different races. We're all one race. Just that we have a different color, we have a different religion maybe, but that doesn't make us different.
So this brings me to my next question, and the next question, because it was very important to ask this. In fact, the next question is, how would you bring in employment into Brampton? Our youth are jobless, they get their degrees, they don't have jobs. Many of trained professionals here are not able to get jobs. So what are your ideas on bringing into employment into Brampton?
And I'm going to add to this question with the question of diversity. That see, in Brampton city, 70% of Bramptonians, they are people of color. And there's a huge workforce working with the city of Brampton. What initiatives you will take to reflect the Brampton in City Hall's workforce? On the one hand, we need more employment opportunities, we need more businesses, but on the other hand, we also want that whatever employment opportunities City Hall has, it should reflect Bramptonians.
Yes.
We'll start with Vinod.
Okay, so first of all, I want to tackle this whole issue around youth and jobs, right? So what we identified at least is that the education we are partaking to the youth itself is not preparing them for the jobs in the real world, which itself is a big issue. So first of all, we have to come up with additional training capabilities, additional enhancements to their education which can get. That's part one. Part two is we do have a 60% commuter crowd which is moving over, and they are moving specifically in the financial, technology, and the administrative industry. To bring those businesses back and attract them in Brampton, we need to build in the kind of infrastructure, whether it is cutting-edge Wi-Fi networks, stuff which they need, nicer office spaces, amenities, which we have to promote and build out. Lastly but not the least, the last thing we want to build out is jobs like what we are decrying about Amazon. We don't want dead-end jobs. We don't want minimum wage work, because that's not a sustainable job for somebody to grow their family and future on. To come to your question on why Brampton City Hall, the way I look at it is any job should be based on merit. It should not be based on caste, color, creed, or religion. It should be purely based on merit, because we are paying people a salary to do a job. But we have to advertise it to everybody, let everybody know that there is a job opportunity, you have an opportunity to apply, you will be treated fairly, you will be interviewed with all the same set of questions, irrespective of who you are, and the best candidate will be selected.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Mansoor.
The employment, because there is manufacturing environment is very less. The most of warehouses job, and they are not hiring full-time employees. They are taking from the agencies, because they don't want to give benefit for the employee. That is the main reason for in Brampton. So we need to get more employment with the manufacturing institutes, so they will appoint full-time jobs. And one more thing for the city hall or something, because the system, the educational system, they especially for the people, what they are doing, they will go for higher education in the colleges and university, whatever it is. But when there is a coming for requirement, employment situation, there is some small courses, it is helpful for them. That's why we need more workshops for the young people to teach them how to get it, the other sources. That means small trainings and small social works, and this all will be help to get the jobs in, not only City Hall, even any companies, any where they go, they are taking for, same time they are taking for advanced certificate courses, which it is comes for 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is. If you are a mechanical engineer, you are good with any other thing like a fire protection or something, it's taken in additional, it will get more opportunity to get employment. So we need a more workshop for our young people to get involvement. Thank you.
Thank you, Mansoor. Before we take our next guest to speak, I would like to inform our viewers that we will be taking some phone calls also soon. So get ready if you have questions. So you want to ask your candidates any questions. We'll be happy to have your questions, but those questions should be in civil language. If you can speak English, will be great. If somehow you're not, you can't speak properly, or you're not comfortable or confident, you can speak in Hindi, Punjabi, Urdu also. So we'll translate those questions for our guests if they don't understand your language. But it's important that the question has to be asked in a very civil manner. If it is not, we'll disconnect and we'll say sorry. So, John.
Thank you. First of all, we have to understand that business will go wherever they prefer, and they make the decisions based on where they can do the best business and make the most profit. Now, the problem I believe in Brampton is that our taxes are quite high, and our development charges are quite high. So businesses that are looking to locate, they're looking for better taxes and lower DC development charges. Now, from my point of view, I believe that in order to attract some new employers in Brampton, we have to look at reducing our cost, reducing their cost to come to Brampton. And we can do that through the reduction of the development charges, which I am very keen on exploring as a way to bring more business here to Brampton. There's a lot of competition. Businesses now have so much choice to go across Southern Ontario in different municipalities. So we must create an environment where a good council, a peaceful council, that works together to create an environment where business want to come to. We've had problems the last 2 terms where businesses are probably scared to come to Brampton because of what's happening. As far as the employment, the transition is happening right before our eyes. And I do believe that the best person should be hired. And actually, I had an idea to have post the people who were successful with their qualifications. And I will pursue that.
That's a good idea.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Gos.
Well, thank you. I do agree with some of the points John made, that you have to create an environment for the business to come to Brampton. And I think it again starts at the City Hall. In City of Brampton, they haven't changed some of the bylaws in the last 25 years. You have to cut the red tape, and you have to modernize the permit process. You know, it has to be digital. I mean, still in Brampton, you have to line up. It's a lot of paperwork, a lot of papers, and nobody in this state likes to wait 2-3 years. So first step is to cut the red tape and streamline that process. Then look at your development charges, look at your taxes, and after that, you have to go after the businesses. You have to ask to the businesses to locate to Brampton. Brampton has all the highways, we have airport close to us, but City of Brampton doesn't go and ask. They don't go after the businesses. And as a federal minister, I've been on trade missions and talked to a lot of people around the globe. But again, it comes back to Brampton is very, laid back. The council and the leadership, they don't go after the businesses. You have to go after the businesses these days to bring them to Brampton. Brampton have a young, skilled workforce in every aspect. Trades, any other trades, labor, we have that. As far as diversity, we need the best candidates, best skilled candidates to have those jobs.
So we are going to have a rapid fire question and a commitment from our future possible mayors. And the question, and you'll get only 15 seconds to...
We have a call. Can we take a call?
Of course. Let's take
Thank
a call.
you.
Let's
Thank
see
you.
what our viewers are
Thank you.
interested in.
Yes, hello. Hello, can we have your name?
Yes, hi, it's Rita here.
Yes, please. Rita, what's your
Hi, I
question?
have a question that Mr. Patrick Brown and Linda Jeffrey is in the lead. So we just have 12 days to go. So to all the four candidates, candidates, what are the chances of the winning? Like, do you guys see yourself in the lead though?
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yes.
bye.
Yep, so this is a good question. So what do you think the chances of you guys winning this election or where you are? You can start.
There's always
only 15 seconds.
there's a saying. There's always a slip between the cup and the lip. Okay, so it's all most elections come to the last few days because we only had 36% voting. So you can say the lead is coming from a very small margin. The real people, the 64% who have not voted, who have not expressed their opinion, they are still to be counted, and that's whom we are going after.
Thank you. Mr. Masood.
Yeah, check the candidate's website, and you are the one decision makers who will be our mayor in next. Thank you.
John.
40% of the people are undecided, and they will make the difference. And any one of us could be chosen based on what we say, what we think, what our platform is. So I'm staying right to the end and give the people a choice.
Oh, people are just starting to make up their mind, and still I knocked a lot of doors, talked to a lot of people. A lot of them haven't made up their mind till now. They are sporting, and I truly believe it's a race between all of us, and I have a great chance.
Well, Vinod said there's always a slip between the cup and lip, and we can see the history. Everyone was expecting that Patrick Brown will become the premier of Ontario a couple of months before the election itself, and the fakes changed. But I'm coming back to my rapid fire question where I want some commitments. So my first, you have 30 seconds to answer. There are two things in this question. Very simple. One, will you decrease the property tax and development charges if you become the mayor? Number two, tell us one initiative, one thing you will do to get the business into Brampton. I'll start with Vinod.
Okay, I've already published this in today's
You have 30 seconds.
30
Quick.
seconds, yes, 25% tax rate cut is what Vinod is proposing right now. That's there for your property
Development
taxes.
charges?
Development charges, yes, we will reduce the development charges for homes and businesses, as John has already suggested out. And third one was on
What you will do to bring businesses here?
what I will do to bring businesses is I am going to make Brampton into a tech hub to bring business.
Thank you.
Right for business.
Mr. Mansoor.
Thank you. I cannot say for reducing the property tax, but I can immediately freeze the property tax. There is no further increase. After the economical situation is going up,
Development charges.
we will make it reduce because we need affordable housing for the people. And the last thing it is bring the employment here who is ready to open their
So
industry.
you will reduce the development charges only for the houses, or you will reduce them for the businesses also?
I'll try my best, which it is go. And subsidy, we bring the new industry, we will offer for some subsidy.
Thank you. John.
John, I cannot promise I reduce taxes. That's a huge promise, and the only way you can do that is to cut the services by 25%, which the people don't want services cut. They don't want the snow plow stopped. They don't want the rec centers closed. They don't want the libraries closed. They want more policing. They want more services. So it's impossible. As far as development charges and bringing business, I plan, if I become the mayor, I want to go and meet with all the heads of the corporations personally and ask them to come to Brampton.
Well, first of all, I will do the audit of the city finances, line by line, and we can find savings there. Appoint an auditor general so that we are spending, where it's needed. Then I'll go after the businesses. Most important is to go after the businesses. When you bring more businesses, every city should have 40% tax come from business, 60 from home. And because it's 79-21, that is why when you bring more businesses,
well, it's 30 seconds. It is a question. What you will do with the property tax? What you will do with the
that's what I'm trying to tell you. That once you bring businesses, automatically, when the balance is right, the property taxes will
That's a political
start.
answer. I'm asking a commitment. Will you decrease the development charges or not?
Again, it has to be done once we get the businesses in Brampton. It will help offset some of the taxes. Then we can work on that.
Thank you.
So we have a call here. Yes, may I know your name, please?
Hey, hi.
Hello, yes.
Hi, my name is Gruntin. Actually, I have a question because I'm first time voting in Canada. So one thing I was going through everybody's website and looking into what they did so far. One thing I'm not able to figure out, there is a one candidate with some allegations, sexual assault allegations on it. But nobody is raising that, and if that guy become a mayor, how I will send my sister, daughter to his office for any kind of help. I will be so much shy to meet my mayor. So if nobody is raising that concern from one of the all of the candidates who are running for mayor, so why is it so?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
How Mr. Gosal would like to respond to this caller?
Well, I mean, everything's available these days on media, news media. So every voter has to make up their own mind by, reading the media, reading the news stories. This day and day, everything is available online and everywhere.
John.
Yeah, everyone has to do their research. The information is available. Today with the internet, you Google a name and bang, everything's there. So people, it's your responsibility. It's not up for us to tell people about the negatives of other people. We're here to promote our own selves.
Mr. Mishra.
The matter is in the court, so I cannot able to say anything about. But you are the decision makers.
Mr. Mishra, the matter is not in the court.
He applied for the sue against the newspaper.
Actually, he has actually sued CTV.
Yeah.
It's not about that he's being charged.
Okay.
So we have to see that. He's not being charged.
Yeah, it's not being charged. It is in the court for the compensation.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's a different that he is saying, but it's not that he's
it's
being
not
charged.
in the court. It is a compensation. It is in the file in the court. But still, I am telling the viewers and everyone, take your decision and go to the website for the candidates, and you find it. You have any questions, just to call them. They are, if you call me, I will free to answer your calls.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I have a very whole model around that, innocent until proven guilty. I'm a very big proponent of that. And one of the things I always suggest is that if you have allegations, if you have things, let the police do the job. Now, if people have concerns, this is the candidate who's standing. Please call the candidate, talk to the candidate, ask the question directly.
Thank you.
Yes, so this brings to another question is that I know we did discuss this question in the beginning. Dysfunctional council, and I heard you all speak about collaboration, communication, and poor leadership. You being the mayor, if you do become the mayor of Brampton, how would you look into this very matter where your very councillors won't, just imagine they don't like you and they don't want to agree or consent with your ideas. So how would you really deal with such people?
Anyone can respond.
I can start.
Yes.
You're the most experienced with that.
First of all, when dysfunctionality occurs, when people become personal, we cannot go personal in a council. We cannot attack a person on a personal basis, and that's what's happened here in Brampton the last 4 years. Our mayor was attacking us individually, personally. And that's, once you do that, you create a war. So that's the last thing you want to do is to attack a person personally. And so you listen to everybody's view, and at the end of the day, you take the vote, and the majority wins, and we have to respect that vote. And that's what we have to all learn, and that's we have to. And when the debate is occurring, that's when you fight for your thoughts. And but once the vote is taken and the decision is made, then you move on to the next issue. No use rehashing when the decision is already made. Okay, so you have your chance to make your peace while the debate is going on. But after it's done and the decision is made, you leave that alone and you move on to the next issue.
Anyone else want to add to this?
Yeah, the thing it is, this question is raised for the concern of the people is from the last council. Because last council, many of the things it is in the council decisions are, it's not everyone is agreed. Because that's why we lost our light rail system, LRT. Because the thing it is now the money is gone because of the decision, and they did not submit properly for the reroute things. That's why we lost that. But it is very hard to bring it back again. Thank you.
Mr. Bruce.
Oh, again, respect. You know, it was dysfunctional because there was no respect in council. They are attacking each other. As John said, it was personal attacks. Every councillor is elected independent, and mayor is elected independently. So you have to respect their ideas as well, and you have to respect each other. And council decision should be made, and once it's made, you know, as John said, they should all respect that.
Thank you.
That's the most important.
Mr. Vinod, if you want to add something.
Yeah, I want to add one very important thing in on that is that, you know, we can work together. We have different groups, we have different ideologies. We have to be open to somebody's ideas and thoughts. But at the same time, finally it all becomes down to is what is the city, we together doing with the city money and the people's money. If there is something wrong with that, even if you're the lone dissent voice, you should raise it and be there. Otherwise, openness and collaboration is how things work together.
Thank you.
So we have a couple of calls here.
So let's take the calls.
Yes, please. Yes, may we have your name, please?
Hello, मैं पंजाबी जी गल करता हूँ.
Yes, कर सकते हो तुसी गल.
हाँ जी, मेरा नाम बलविंदर सिंह है.
जी.
Thank you.
हाँ जी, बड़ी खुशी है तुसी आज PTN24 से आए हो, अपने विचार दे रहे हो.
जी.
मेरा एक क्वेश्चन है जिदा एक ਤਾਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੈਸੇ ਤਾਂ ਪੂਰੇ GTA ਏਰੀਆ ਦੀ ਸਮੱਸਿਆ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਕ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਦੀ.
ਜੀ.
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਮੇਅਰ ਬਣ ਜਾਓਗੇ ਕ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਨੂੰ ਸਟਾਪ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਕੀ ਕਰੋਗੇ ਇਹ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਦੱਸੋ ਤੇ ਪਲੱਸ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਇੰਸ਼ੋਰੈਂਸਾਂ ਵਧੀਆ ਹੋਈਆਂ ਆ.
ਜੀ.
ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਕੀ ਕਰੋਗੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਲੱਸ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੁਣੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਰਿਸਪੈਕਟ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਵਿਰੋਧੀ ਗਰੁੱਪ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਇਹ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਸੋਹਣਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ ਸਾਰੇ ਈਚ ਅਦਰ ਆਪਣੇ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਸੀਗੇ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਸਾਰੇ ਰਿਸਪੈਕਟਫੁਲੀ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ. ਹੁਣ ਹੌਲੀ ਹੌਲੀ ਇਹ ਟ੍ਰੈਂਡ ਚੇਂਜ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ. ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿਉਂ ਕੀ ਕਾਰਨ ਆ ਇਹਦਾ ਬੈਟਰ ਇਹੀ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪੋਲੀਟੀਸ਼ੀਅਨ ਲੋਕ ਆ. ਬਾਕੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਦੱਸੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਕਰੋਗੇ ਇੰਸ਼ੋਰੈਂਸ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਕ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਬਾਰੇ. ਮੈਂ
Thank you, Ji. Thank you very much.
So we'll take another call and then we'll take the answers. How's that?
Okay. All right.
Okay. Hello. Yes. May we have your name?
ਜਸ਼ਨ ਸਿੰਘ.
Yes. What's your question, sir?
ਸੰਜੀਵ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਹਾਲ ਹੈ ਜੀ?
ਬਹੁਤ ਅੱਛੇ ਜੀ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੁਣਾਓ. ਆਪਾਂ ਕੁਇਕਲੀ ਕੁਐਸਚਨਸ ਪੁੱਛੀਏ.
ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਪਿਛਲੇ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਹੈ ਜੀ ਮੈਂ ਕੋਈ ਨਾ ਐਡਰੈਸ ਕਰਦਾ ਸੀ. ਮੈਂ ਤੇ ਪਿਛਲਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਹਰ ਸਾਲ ਵੋਟਾਂ ਆਉਂਦੀਆਂ 4-5 ਸਾਲ ਬਾਅਦ ਤੇ ਹਰ ਗਲੀ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਮਿਸ ਕਰਦਾ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਉਣ ਸਮੇਂ ਇੰਸ਼ੋਰੈਂਸ ਘੱਟ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ, ਟੈਕਸ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ, ਪਰ ਕੁਝ ਹੋ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਿਹਾ. ਕੁਝ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਮਾਰੇ ਕਿ ਸੱਚ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਹੀ ਨੇ.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Before I give opportunity to anyone, I'm just jokingly asking John, could you figure out this Punjabi question, what question is basically asked or not?
I cannot.
Okay, so I'll translate for you. So basically, both the people, they talked about 3 issues. That was actually the question I was going to ask, but a caller asked, that's great. So issue is crime in Brampton and increased insurances and respect. We have already discussed that issue. So these are the 2 issues. anyone can jump in, start the discussion.
Certainly. What do you want?
Yep, sure.
We know that crime's been increasing, and this year's been highest compared to last 3 years. And as a mayor, you have to work with the police chief. You cannot blame everybody else around you. And I have served on Peel Police Services Board. First of all, we have to look at the number of officers. With the chief, do we have enough officers in Peel or in Brampton? If we don't, then we have to provide them those resources. We have to go off the province. If they can give money to the City of Toronto, Brampton should get money as well. So that's first. Then bring with the community police stations. We used to have that. We should bring those back.
Thank you.
Safety is a police responsibility, and we must work with the police and provide whatever resources the police need. Now we know that the police chief is complaining that the government took away the ability to do street checks, and they claim that the crime has risen because of that action by the government. So if we need to bring back some sort of ability for the police to do some sort of investigation, we must do that.
Thank you, John.
We need crime prevention. We will talk with the residents and also the parents to watch their children's activities, and we will give more engage for the youths in the different community activities, and we wanted to make them busy, and the parents, they wanted to take care with them, and they wanted to do with the friends. And one more thing, the vehicle insurance, it's come from the provincial. They wanted to make some steps, but we'll do our best what we can. We'll talk with the provincial to do something.
Thank you.
So, I'm just going to answer it very quickly. One is, for all the folks श्रोताओं जो देख रहे हैं जी, मेरा साइट पे जाइए, सारा results सारा दिखा हुआ है. Our results pick up today's Brampton Garden. I've put down exactly solutions for crime, what I'm going to do, which is more cameras, more facilities for the law enforcement. We're going to provide support for poverty scenarios. Similarly, for traffic congestion also, what we're going to build out in terms of cameras, sensors, smart sensors, integrating the city grid, alleviating congestion. So all of that is already there. So because it's very hard to get it in the 30 seconds, so I'm just letting you know.
Thank you very much. Viewers, we are here to take your calls also. If you want to ask any of the question to our mayoral candidates present in the debate, feel free to call us. And now I have another important question. Madam Linda Jaffrey, the mayor of Brampton, has claimed that her biggest achievement is to bring in university to the Brampton. So what is your take? Do you think what is achieved is sufficient? Do you think that if you would have been the mayor, you would have done it differently? So I would like to take your opinion, and anyone can start.
Well, on that issue, first of all, the university is 2,000 students. It's like a high school, and it's on a parking lot which has no room for expansion. We have the right place in Brampton, right close to downtown, the Flower City campus, 80 acres of beautiful parkland that we can put this university in a location with opportunity to expand it into a full campus. Whatever is there in the parking lot is going to stay. You cannot expand, and it's not the right place. If I become the mayor, I will push to have this relocated so we can grow a proper university in Brampton.
So to make Brampton into a really developed futuristic city, and where we can see is that where do most of the students actually leave to study. If you want to bring that kind of education back here, the university which has been brought here is just only focusing on one component and very generic state stuff. We need to look at what they're going to teach, whether it's for even 1,500 students. The key is what are they going to teach, because we do have Alagoma, we've got a bunch of universities here. Right, so when we say we don't have university, but it's the key is what are they going to teach, that's one part. Then as John said, we need space for expansion, we need to bring up, and we need to bring more universities. One university alone will not cut it.
So, we do have a call here.
Yes,
Okay.
take a call also.
Okay,
and
I will
then
start.
I'll give you the opportunity.
The university which is brought by the incumbent mayor, it is for only for the, in my view, it is for election purpose. They wanted to be said that we did. But it is not right thing. Because the small cities, they have the big universities like Waterloo, and it will bring the more attraction to the city. So why they did it done with the, because we have a law and we have things, we can have an improvement. Our children are going studying out of Brampton. we can bring it big universities such as Waterloo and University of Toronto. That is we need.
Oh, I mean, everybody's talking about the university. They're claiming we brought university. Still, nothing's clear. There's a lot of fighting about it. And somebody's saying it's a parking lot. Somebody's saying, you know, there's many students and questions about it. As a mayor, my priority is to bring a full university to Brampton. And we do have land available in Brampton. As John mentioned, you know, Flower City campus, which used to be OPP training center, we got more than enough land. We'll bring a full university into Brampton.
Thank you, guys. I have a follow-up question on the university issue, but before that, we will take a call.
A call. Thank you. Yes, Mr. Harjinder. Can we have your question?
Hi, all the Brampton candidates and PTN24. Hi to everybody.
Hello.
Hello, Ji.
Hello.
Sanjeev ji, I have a few questions. The question should be a small, but answer should be a very big, right? So my concern is the basement legalized, right?
Okay.
So the Brampton home, they have a single homes, but because the basement is not legalized, and the people, they have a basement, and one family living in downstairs and one is upstairs, and because of that, the schools are very crowded. So I have a question to all the candidates. They have any plan to for the legalized basement? And my second question is that if I'm going out of Brampton, everybody calling it Brampton is a sleeping city, right? So they have any plans? All the new houses is coming. Nothing else. I mean, the business is not coming anymore. So they have any plan to bring any business, university, and that's all my question is that. So I'm going to hang up the phone and I can listen off here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Some of the issues you have raised are already covered by some of our candidates. They have just discussed this, raised the issue of illegal basements because there are so many, thousand, and he says because of that there's a overcrowding in the schools. So what you will do as a mayor to legalize them. Now we know that there are laws that you can have a second unit, you can legalize them, but we know that a lot of them are not legalized. So what you will be doing, so it's an open question, anyone can start.
The thing it is, last couple of years, the house prices are gone very high. The people want to pay their mortgages, so they wanted to be rent it out for the basement. But we wanted to do some legalize, some things to be changes from the current law. And the same time, the thing it is the people, the earning was very low here, and I don't think anyone is pay off their mortgages because they are taking second and third mortgages to pay their arrears. So we wanted to do legalized basement, some simple way. Thank you.
Thank you.
Basement, it's a provincial law that people have a right to have a basement apartment. The problem is that most people have not made it legal, and they're illegal because it's very difficult to make them legal. In order to make them legal, the city has to go in and inspect the whole basement to make sure it was done to code. Fire safety, the electrical, the plumbing, and most people don't want to tear down the walls in order to see the wiring, to see the plumbing, and that's a problem.
Oh, again, it's a very important issue. I've raised it a couple times. We should have all basements legalized. Right now, City of Brampton have kind of few people who check and there's big fines. And what I suggested was, next 2 years, we'll put a moratorium on all the fines. And we'll get every single basement legalized to the code. It's become safe for people living in the basement. It increases the tax base of the house. And we know exactly how many people are living in the houses. So plan is to legalize every single basement in Brampton.
Thank you, Baji. And I mentioned that I have a follow-up question about the universe. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
That's fine. So, as Balbuzalji suggested, right, legalizing basement because basements actually provide the avenue of affordable housing. of course, for the fact that some of them are not safe, so we need to align them with code. I had a chat with one of the city folks who actually do this. They said there are 3,000 pending applications for legalization, which they don't have time and staff to actually look into. So it's the other way around right now. The problem is sitting out. So we need to bring in more staff to support that. Second thing, we have to look at the overall process of what is required. Are we made it cumbersome? Can we clean it up? And lastly, but not the least, we need to do a proper census, because even legalizing basement will not solve our school problem, because the numbers, headcount is still low. So we need to do a proper census.
Thank you very much. So my follow-up question about the university was that, say if the university is coming in downtown Brampton and it's in the parking, so we have one university there, and then as John mentioned, that there's a space to have a university, a full university, and we can bring that another university there, and maybe we should have, if Waterloo can have 2 universities, Brentford had, I think, university. So Waterloo has 2 universities. Why can't Brampton has 2 or 3 universities if we have space? So let us welcome the parking lot university, and then we can go for the other universities. What's your thoughts about it?
Well, universities are not easy to come by. First of all, they're a provincial responsibility. The province decides when they expand universities and where they will go. So can we bring another university? I believe that we have to fight for a better university now that we have the opportunity. Because once we have the small university, it's very doubtful that we can get another one. So we must get this one, do it right. Get it done right, and we must fight for that.
Thank you.
I have a very interesting question here, and this question, yes, would you like to say
I actually have a follow-up question on the university space.
Yes, please.
The biggest problem of putting it in the parking lot, as John has suggested, is not only just the university. The problem is residences. Students need a place to live. You do not have a place anywhere to build a proper student residence over there. So that's the reason why I'm advocating that we need to find a better place. Secondly, when it comes down to multiple universities, why are we saying that we need to do it Brampton? We have a singular border with Caledon. We are a lower tier municipality, part of Peel region. We can put down a bunch of universities in Caledon. There's a lot of space there.
Mm-hmm.
No, coming back to your question, we'd love to have more universities, but we started 10 years ago trying to get a university. Finally, we did the announcement. As a mayor, I will talk to Ryerson to have a Ryerson university that is, proper university. Talking about parking lot. If we can find space in downtown Brampton enough, where you can put buildings and you have future expansion plans, you can put residences, I'll be all for it. Again, you have to have a decent full university, and you have to have a plan for that, and we'll go after Ryerson, then you can expand on
Thank
it.
you. Yes.
My question is, who is the biggest threat to you to win this election? Starting with Vinod.
Oh, okay. So the fact that, my lawn signs are actually getting stolen big time across the city, and I've put proof of that. So I believe I am now a big threat to a lot of people.
So you're not a threat.
So let me rephrase it there. Right now, I'm the biggest threat to everybody.
No, but we really, we need to aware our audience.
Yes.
Because we need to vote at the end of the day,
Right.
including myself.
Yes.
So we really want to know who really is the best candidate, apart from whatever
I'll leave it
research
to the
we've
people
done.
to find out who's the best candidate. That's why I always
But
say
we
it's an
want
individual.
your views here.
So my views on right now, the best candidate to change and tweak the city, make it better, is of course me.
Of course.
Right? And if it is a choice, who is going to be next? I don't know. Who is actually I'm running neck to neck right now with?
Yes.
From a visibility perspective, it is definitely Patrick.
Okay.
Because that's whom I'm actually really competing out on from a visibility perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I can say it. Really.
Yes. Yes, John.
Well, I'm really concerned that with the vote being split so much,
Mm-hmm.
that we're going to end up with Linda again. That really concerns me, because we're all going to take a portion of the votes, and Linda has her core support, and I'm really concerned that we're going to end up with Linda,
Mm-hmm.
and the people are going to have to face another 4 years of Linda Jeffrey
Yeah.
and her style of being mayor.
Mm-hmm.
But do you propose
That's
that out
what
of
I'm-
these four
that's what I
candidates,
believe
if
that-
we
that's
can
a
have
threat.
one and the other three can support that? Is there any possibility of that? That three, in this debate, out of four, three support one and they all withdraw and someone support? Is it a possibility? Is it possible then to win?
Well, if we could decide that amongst ourselves, I would be for that. But the problem is that we all have our supporters, and they will not, just because we're going to say, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to support Bal Goso, so let's vote for Bal. My supporters will say, no way, we don't like Bal. That's their choice. So this is the problem we're faced.
Come on, Johnny's a likable guy.
So yes, what's your say on that? Who's the biggest threat to you?
To me, everybody who puts their name in, they have a plan. That's where they're running. It takes a lot to put your name in. I'm here to win. And amount of lawn signs I'm getting, amount of phone calls we're getting, amount of door knocks we knock, and I am clearly have the best chance. I'm moving forward, working hard, and let the Bramptonians decide who's the best candidate. And I'm very confident, and October 22nd, they will decide that Bal Goso is the best candidate.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yes, please.
Yeah, no threat for me, because I know how to tackle, because the people, they are the one wanted to be decide who will be the next mayor. So I will agree with the people, whatever their decision is made. But if I elected, I will strive to bring all the facilities from the provincial and federal. Thank you.
Yes. Thank
Anyone
you.
want to add to this so that we can then
We
go
can
ahead?
take a call
ahead.
and then
Okay.
we will
Let's take a
continue
call.
adding. Yeah. Yes, please. May I have your name?
Hi, my name is Ruth.
Yes, Roop. What's your question?
My question is for each of them is they all have a vision for being a mayor, right?
Okay.
But what is the first thing they will do upon being a mayor? And what kind of duties will they fulfill? What is the main target that they are looking forward for the community, for the city? right?
Beautiful question. Thank you very much. I think this is a really good question. That if you are elected, what will you do first?
Respect among all the councillors, unity among all the councillors and the mayor, work as one council. Throw away your egos, work for Bramptonians. They elected us, and I, as a mayor, I have to work what the Bramptonians elected for me to do. Cut the red tape at City Hall, streamline the process at City Hall, then tackle all other issues.
John.
Again, a mayor cannot do anything unless they get the council support. So the first thing that we must do as a mayor, whoever becomes a mayor, is that we have cohesion in council. Get a council to work as a team and to promote the city. This is the most important part of the mayor, to be a good captain, to lead the council, to be outspoken, and to guide the council to work together and work for the people. This is the primary function of the mayor, and if unless one can do that, then the council will not operate.
Thank you.
Yeah, bringing transparency in the city hall and coordination with the city councillors and the regional councillors. And the first it is with their help, freezing the property tax. Then we'll go ahead and other things. Thank you.
So my tagline is let us make Brampton safe and smarter. So that's where the first priority comes around, because all the councillors who are running right now, they're all worried about how can we bring in safety. So that's going to be my first priority, working with them all so that we all can feel safe. Because once you have that, you can then do everything else. Then the next priority would be property taxes. And then we come on to the other other components which we are there in, whether it is traffic, whether it's healthcare, education, in that order.
Gentlemen, we are almost at the end of this discussion. So my last question to you is that you can ask one question to each other, or you can ask one question to the candidates who are not present here. So for the viewers to see and listen. So anyone wants to ask any question, you can ask one question to either those who are present here or those who are not present here.
Okay, I'll ask the question.
Yes.
We have been undergoing a lawsuit for the last 7 years the city's been sued for $28.5 million, and because there's a lot of money has been wasted in Brampton by in this project expanding City Hall. There's the court case has happened, and there will be a judgment coming probably in the next month or two. If the judgment is that there was improper activity by the city staff, what will you be supporting a police investigation? Any one of you, will you support a police investigation to hold the people accountable that had wasted us $100 million in the city of Brampton that we're paying for?
Yes,
I'm happy to answer that. A crime is a crime, it's a crime, irrespective of who does it. So if somebody is proven that they actually committed and we partake of something which has caused us immense damage, because people's money is people's money, we cannot play around with that. In that case, yes, I will work with the council and we will hold these folks accountable for what the actions are done.
Well, that's why I've been proposing Auditor General to clean up the expenses. And it is important, as John mentioned, if there is anything comes out of that court case, any decision that there was wrongdoings, I'm all for police investigation. And it should be done, it is important.
Yeah, I agree with Mr. Vinod and Mr. Balgosal what they say, but it's need to be checked and go by the law.
So this is the last call. If you want to ask any question, you have the opportunity.
So
you can even raise a question to the
Can we
viewers.
take this call before we
Okay.
get an answer
Sure,
from you?
sure.
Thank you very much. Yes, please. What's your name?
Hello, good evening. My name is IPTV.
Yes, interpret. What's your question?
Yeah, I want to know about the fact about that how many people voted in or generally vote for these elections. Like, what's the outcome percentage? Because whenever we talk that it's coming out that we people like South Asians or who are migrated here, we don't go for the vote. Sometimes we are stuck in our jobs, or we don't vote. We are more interested in MP votes and not these councillors. So this time there are too many candidates. It's going to affect the results also. So I want to see if you can help me to get the facts out. And I have a specific question to Mr. Balgosal that because he's from our community. A lot of people ask that what he did in the past, like when he was Minister of Sports. So I just can be explained a little bit, because I want to. It's going to be good for viewers too. So if he can repeat, because I hope that he'll be a little bit late. So
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. So I need time to answer that question.
Yes, please.
So when I was sports minister, when I got sworn in, I went to the department, and at that time 2015 games, Pan and Para-Pan American games were getting ready, and every city had chance to bid for these games. But city of Brampton never bid for any of the hosting of the games. So department asked me, and I worked with the department. We tried to bring baseball and softball to Brampton. We talked to city and we talked to the council. We had a memorandum and we did the feasibility study. If you know Brampton, at the corner of Countryside and Bramley Road, there are baseball fields, and that's where we were going to put international baseball and softball stadium for Pan Am Games. And we did the study. We spent $50,000 on it, and there was a $13 million project. After the game, city was going to take over, but I got an email from the mayor, I was in Vancouver on official business, that we don't want the stadium. And then I got a letter. Then I talked to a lot of councillors at that time, and Vicky Dillon was one of the South Asian councillors, and John Sanderson. I talked to a lot of these councillors and the baseball community. This is a great opportunity. It's an economic boost to the city, and every time you host international events, it's it's good for economy, and also it produces world-class athletes from that city. But for some reason, and they decided against it. that was
John, I will give
yeah,
you the
that was one thing. Then I brought in Pan Am Field Hockey Cup to Brampton. They built one field. You need 2 fields to host international events. Even for that, I brought in different countries, 6 countries to have a Pan Am Cup. At that time, I asked the mayor as well that if you can, there's a room there, if you can get a second field passed by the city, because the cup was so successful, all the businesses were busy, and as a community, we can build that field and we'll host international sporting events. And I wasn't successful in that either. So, I mean, if you look at the Zoom funding, that was federal funding, that was our government. I delivered that funding, and we see those fast buses. And that was gas tax made permanent by conservative government. I was part of that government, part of that federal cabinet. So we brought funding. We brought funding for different recreation centers, walking trails. We gave funding to improve them and retrofit some of the recreation centers. It's all the funding I brought in for Brampton, but then Brampton never asked for anything, and because of Brampton's, I guess, indecisiveness, we lost that great opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Gosal. I think, John, you were also part of the council at that time.
Yes, I was.
So what happened? Why we couldn't get all that? Who was
what
responsible?
happened? What happened is at Brampton, the main sports at Brampton now is soccer and cricket. And we were actually promised that we'd bring a cricket stadium where the federal government would pay half and Brampton would pay the other half. We have the land on Nagore Road. We have 240 acres. We have the site. And we were supposed to get cricket as a demonstration sport. And we were all geared up to have a cricket stadium, which we need badly, because cricket is now the fastest growing sport in Brampton. And also soccer. The 2 sports are really growing. Baseball is not that popular, and we felt that a stadium, for a baseball stadium, we would not really be profitable, or if it would be losing a lot of money. It wouldn't be used very much. But for cricket and soccer, we felt that was the sports where we could really capitalize, and we were hoping for the cricket stadium, but unfortunately it didn't happen.
Mr. Gosal want to
no, I mean, originally in Pan Am Games, cricket was supposed to be demonstrated sports. And then Pan Am Association, and Canada doesn't have, on that what kind of sports they bring in and what kind of sports are demonstration sport. We can, try to get it, and end of the day, all countries decide. They decided against cricket. So if cricket is not being played, and federal funding comes, for the Pan Am Games, so at least we're getting the stadium. Baseball, that could be used because it's got permanent seating, it's got change rooms, that could be used for other multiple sports. You can change those fields to use for other sports. We have fields here where we change baseball, we use that for kabaddi, we use for soccer, we use for cricket, and you can change that. At least you have the infrastructure that's coming to Brampton, and council said no to that.
Thank you.
So you asked me one question which we can ask, right? Yeah. So the one question which I answer is that there's political experience, loads of political experience, and then there's political baggage. Right now we have got 3 conservative candidates, one a former conservative minister, one a former conservative PISA chair, and somebody who leans conservative. Yet the Conservative Party is actually in a way supporting the Liberal candidate here. So why, and why is that political baggage? How will you handle that? That's the key, right? Because I am asking as a Bramptonian, if you become my mayor, how will you handle that problem? Because right now, your own party is not supporting you.
Anyone want to respond to that?
No, I have party backing. President of the current PC party of Ontario is in my camp, and I have a lot of conservative, MPPs supporting me. And I don't know where that question came from. I'm getting the support from all parties, actually. As a mayor, your mayor, there's no party lines. As a mayor, you gather support from all walks of life and all party lines. So I'm getting support from, Liberal people. I'm getting support from NDP. I'm getting support from, PC and Conservatives. I'm getting support from all, people around. And because I worked in the community for 35 years, I coached and managed soccer league here, Coach Soccer, and I served on a lot of boards. So I have interaction and connection with all party lines. I'm getting all the support.
Thank you very much. John, you
Well, there was a rumor going around that Doug Ford was going to come here to Brampton and endorse Linda Jeffrey. Well, that never happened. I had never heard that the Conservative Party is supporting Linda Jeffrey. That's, to me, it's a rumor, but it was never firmed up by the party. Doug Ford came to Brampton last week and did not endorse Linda Jeffrey.
Yeah, once it is coming for the municipal election, there is no party behind by the law, because it's everyone is standing in personal. But that's why they make it like this. Municipal is very important, because they are the one handling the immediate answer for the public. Then there will be a provincial, federal, whatever. But the thing is, they're making the law is like that. Why they didn't support to make, at least for the mayor position or councillor, whatever, at least they have to be stay for 3 years in the same city to know about the city very well. Then only they can nominate for the position for mayor or councillor, regional councillor. That is my question. If it is anyone interested, can answer for that.
Anyone want to respond to that?
I agree that someone should not be able to pop in the last minute and become a candidate for mayor. It's a very important position, and I believe that the law should be changed, that this person has to live in the city for at least a year before they can even register to become a candidate.
Well, Brampton is a great city. Brampton have experienced candidates, and Brampton, people living in Brampton, they know that. And we don't need somebody coming from outside of Brampton telling us, how to run Brampton.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Vinod, Mansoor, John, Bal, thank you very much for joining and sharing your thoughts to our viewers. And thank you very much, Casey, also for helping and associating me in this. So, ਇਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਮਾਪਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ, ਨਮਸਕਾਰ, ਆਦਾਬ, goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.